Maxim is trying to keep his children distracted from the horrors of their home. 2 weeks ago, they heard an air raid siren and ran down to the basement. It was lucky they did. This is what's left of their apartment building. There was a huge explosion. Everyone was terrified, he says, adding his godmother and 2 of their friends were killed. The family lives in Kharkiv. Ukraine's second largest city has endured the second most Russian attacks, next only to Mariupol. The city is hit by rockets and artillery dozens of times each day. More than 10% of the buildings have been destroyed. Homes, schools, and shopping plazas. It's very scary. We spend most of the time hiding in our basement, this couple says. The city says a third of its 1.5 million residents have fled. Many who've stayed have moved underground. Victoria has spent 3 weeks living in the subway with her husband, daughters, and cats after their home was destroyed. Why is Russia doing this, she asks. Why hurt children? Why hurt old people? Why do we suffer? Many of her extended family members live in Russia. The city is located just 40 kilometers from the Russian border and has long enjoyed close ties with Moscow. We are all Russian speakers in this area, and for some reason we're shelled the most, she says. We met the city's mayor in a secret location. He says his residents have seen the hardships in the Russian-controlled regions of Donetsk and Luhansk. The Russians' mistake was that they thought if 90% of the city speaks Russian, then we will greet them with flowers, he says. They did not realize that the city of Kharkiv was, is, and will be Ukrainian. One of the key pretexts of Russia's invasion of Ukraine was to protect Russian-speaking communities like this one. Well, this is what Vladimir Putin's protection looks like. This was an apartment building that was shelled just recently, and as you can see, that rubble is still everywhere. The belongings of family members here who were killed in this explosion, children's toys, stuffed animals, clothes, books. It is absolutely horrific. A military press officer took Global News for a tour of the aftermath. We were instructed to follow his car and were far from the front line when we heard gunfire. Warning shots fired into the air by Ukrainian soldiers, whom it turned out hadn't been told by their colleague that we were coming. Yet another example of a city on edge after nearly 5 weeks of relentless attacks. And yet many residents, including Maxim's family, refuse to leave. We were born here and we will die here, he says. Today the bombing is here, tomorrow it's somewhere else. We will not run away from our homeland. We will not give up this city. That's a microphone. His playful 5-year-old daughter Jenna, testing out our microphone, seemed blissfully unaware of the evidence all around them that in this war, no target is off limits. Then another air raid siren, and the family heads for shelter once again. Jeff Semple, Global News, Kharkiv, Ukraine.